Hello. So I have been sewing and crafting my own clothing for the past year, and I thought it'd be really fun to look back since now it's like 2021. I'm like, holy shit, this has been a year. Um, what I'm gonna do, what I've made in a year, my fashion choices and the way that my clothing has changed, um, because it's changed so much in the past year that it's fascinating. So here's just sort of like a recap video of everything I've made and me talking over about what I feel. It's snowing outside, so it's really pretty. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I'm currently head deep in circus things and all these fun things that are happening. I'll make a week in a circus, like a week of circus school video at some point. I just have to film a week of circus school. So we're starting with under tunics now. This is the first tunic, just simple front back seams, and all the trim is done by hand. What you see underneath is also just a pants boot combo that I wear very often, and yeah, cool. This one took about 5 hours to do because of the trim. Now you'll see the under kirtle. This one actually has princess seams going across it. You'll also see my cat, and I sneeze. This one is very simply the same thing, unfitted, and took approximately 4 hours. This is a woolen tunic. Wool tunics are meant to be warm, so this one is meant for the winter. All the trim is done by hand, and so is the hem, due to the wool being very thick. Took about 6 hours. This is the first mid tunic. This one I am so saddened by the fact that this fabric is poor quality, because I love the color and I love the way that it flows and looks, but the fabric itself pulls out very often, and I mend it very often. It has 11 buttonholes running down the front, all done by hand. This one is the exact same pattern with 10 buttonholes running down the front. It is done in a different brocade, and this one stays together. I don't have an estimate for time because my sewing machine ended up not working halfway through, so I had to finish it by hand, which also means it looks a little bit different. There's my dog. This one is a little bit of a weird project. This was just an introduction to my new sewing machine, and it is just very simply a unpressed sleeveless gown like you see in Rivendell, trimmed with silk ribbon. This is a cape. I made this cape just for fun. I was like, I need a cape with a collar. It has a really interesting closure situation, which is what makes me very happy about it. You'll notice in the front there are 2 X's, a little bit lopsided currently. Usually they don't say it like that. All buttonholes are done by hand. Here is the OG first one that started. There's actually an entire making of series on my channel. This is based off of Arwen's Mourning or Death Gown. It is done in 2 shades of velvet. Both of these velvets are polyester because silk velvet is expensive. All brocades and trims are all put on by hand, and there is a separating zipper up front. There is my cat one more time. The seams are also done and finished by hand. There is the zipper in action. Lovely, right? You can wear it both ways. Versatile. This one is a different tunic. This is the second tunic. It is more based off of Star Wars type pieces and also Galadriel's garments. The sleeves are lined in velvet. The trim up top is all done by hand and designed. All the trim on the side is done by hand, and the lining is felled in also by hand. This one took approximately a week due to all that. This is my newest garment. There's a making of totally on my channel as well. This is the most recent. I fell in love with this fabric the minute I saw it, and I was like, I need something out of it. And I went bold with the collar, and the trim itself is silk ribbon, and then there is trim on top that's silk ribbon. This trim does not go all the way through, and this one took about a week to complete. Fun fact, there are 2 separate linings because I ran out of one. Here we've got some belts. So the belts are very simply made. They're all boned, actually. They usually have approximately 16 boning channels inside of them. And then these are also all lined with cotton on the inside for structure, sometimes linen depending on the fabric. And then they all have this fabric is gifted to me by someone, so it's actually really, really nice. This one, yeah, you'll see the ribbon that I use is usually just like the really cheap ribbon I find at the store that I work at, which is really cool because it's like 10 yards for like $2. It's like amazing. Yeah. Yeah, here's the third one. This fabric is also gifted to me, and there's only 4 boning channels across this one, so that's a really interesting fun fact, but it's really nice. It's a little bit bigger, but it's more of a corsetry type thing with less structure, I guess. All eyelets are also done. Now we do outfits. So, this is basically just me showing you how I put it together sometimes. You've got your base layer, and then you can use and get a mid layer just like this. These buttons don't always close very well. And then you usually get a belt and outer robe. This just keeps everything together, but you don't always need a belt. You get your favorite crown, which are all wire wrapped, and there we go. Now you're ready to go to the grocery store. Here's for another one. This is sort of a warmer one. So if you desire, you can also look like Lord Elrond from The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, depending on your interests. Yeah. Or you had a cape. That also always works. And then now you're ready to go with your basket to the farmer's market or whatever you decide to do in your small town where everyone thinks you're absolutely insane. Or you can just wear a belt. This one was probably not the greatest choice, as I've realized, or come to realize, but it's just as nice. And with that, it's sort of like, hey, here's my wardrobe. Have a nice day.